Welcome back to the channel where we talk about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the amazing stories behind the everyday change in your pocket. If you love discovering the secrets behind coins that look ordinary but are worth a fortune, then you're going to love this one. Rarest coins. Today's spotlight is on the 1965 Washington quarter. That's right, a simple quarter from 1965, a coin that millions of people have held in their hands, used at gas stations, dropped onto vending machines, or left sitting in old jars. But here's the catch: one of those coins sold for an absolutely stunning $1.8 million. Not a misprint. $1.80 became $1,800,000. And once you hear the story, you'll understand why. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. For decades, it was made of 90% silver. But by the early 1960s, the price of silver was rising fast, and the U.S. Mint faced a serious coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins, and something had to change. So in 1965, the Mint made a historic decision. That year, the quarter shifted from 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition. In other words, the silver quarter became a thing of the past, replaced by a more affordable metal mix that's still used today. The 1965 quarter marked the beginning of a new era, and no more silver for general circulation, or so we thought. While the U.S. Mint officially ended silver quarter production in 1964, something unusual happened. During the transition, a small number of silver plancase, the blank discs used to make coins, were accidentally fed into the presses used to mint 1965 dated quarters. This rare mistake created one of the most valuable modern-era coins in existence. Only a handful of these silver 1965 quarters are known to exist. Most were likely spent and disappeared into circulation, but one stood out: a single coin, struck on a 90% silver plancate, in incredibly high condition, with perfect details and no signs of wear. This wasn't just any error coin, this was a mint state, transitional silver quarter from 1965, a perfect mistake preserved in time. It was discovered by a collector who bought an old coin collection at an estate sale. While sorting through the coins, he noticed a 1965 quarter that looked different. It had a brighter shine, it weighed slightly more than the others, and when he dropped it, it rang with the distinct sound of silver. Suspicious, he sent it off to be professionally graded. What came back changed everything. The coin was authenticated as a genuine 1965 Washington quarter struck on a 90% silver plancate, a massive mint error. But what made this coin even more special was its condition. It wasn't just rare, it was flawless. The grading agency gave it one of the highest ratings ever recorded for a coin of its type. When this coin hit the auction block, collectors knew they were witnessing something historic. Bidding started strong and climbed fast. Phone lines were buzzing, online bids were pouring in, and after an intense back and forth, the gavel dropped. Final sale price: $1.8 million. Let that sink in. A coin worth just 25 cents when it was minted had become a multi-million-dollar collectible. And it all came down to a mistake: a leftover silver blank that was never supposed to be used. Now here's the question you're probably asking: how can you tell if you have one? Start with the edge of the coin. A standard 1965 quarter will show a copper-colored stripe on the side, but if the edge is solid silver, with no copper showing, you might have something rare. Next, weigh the coin. A regular copper-nickel 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams. That small difference is huge when you're talking about a coin potentially worth millions. And if you're lucky enough to find something that looks suspicious, take it to a trusted coin dealer or send it to a grading service. Because as we've seen, these coins are still out there. This story reminds us that not all treasure is buried deep underground. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, in your change jar, in your wallet, in that dusty box of coins your grandparents saved. The 1965 Washington quarter isn't just a coin. It's a piece of history, a turning point in U.S. minting, and for one lucky collector, it became a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth $1.8 million. So, have you checked your quarters lately? Do you have a 1965 quarter sitting at home? It might be time to take a closer look. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found something unusual in your change. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next incredible coin story that could change everything. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep checking your change. The next $1 million coin might be in your hand right now. Welcome back to the channel where we dig into the fascinating world of coins, rare discoveries, rarest coins, valuable errors, and the stories that make even the smallest piece of change worth a fortune. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe because today's video is one of the most incredible stories we've ever shared. We're diving into the mystery and value behind the 1980p Washington quarter. That's right, a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times, maybe even spent without thinking, turned out to be worth an absolutely staggering $1.3 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But as you'll see, sometimes the most ordinary-looking things hide extraordinary secrets. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932, honoring the nation's first president. By 1980, the coin had been in circulation for nearly 50 years, and like many modern quarters, it was made from copper nickel-clad not silver. The P mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 635 million quarters that year. So we're talking about a very common coin. Or so it seemed. But in the world of coin collecting, it only takes one mistake, one error, to turn a common coin into $1 million marvel. Enter the legendary 1980p quarter error coin. This coin wasn't just any quarter. It was a spectacular minting error that occurred during production. Instead of being struck on a standard clad plankett, this quarter was accidentally minted on a pure silver plankett that was not supposed to exist at that time. Even more shocking, the coin showed signs of being struck using proof dies, which are typically reserved for high-quality collectors' coins, not general circulation. So what you have is a coin that shouldn't exist. A 1980p quarter, struck in silver, using proof dies, and somehow released into circulation. It was discovered by a collector in Ohio who had been going through a box of mixed coins he bought at a garage sale. At first glance, it looked like any other quarter, but the shine was different. The edge was silver all the way through, and when he dropped it on the table, it rang with a sound unlike any clad coin. His gut told him something was special about it. He sent the coin to a grading service for authentication, and what came back stunned even the experts. Not only was it confirmed to be struck on a silver plankett, but it was in near-perfect condition and clearly struck using dies never meant for regular coins. The combination of these factors made it an extreme rarity, the only known 1980p Washington quarter of its kind. Word spread quickly. Serious collectors and investors began calling it a once-in-a-lifetime find. When the coin was put up for auction, the bidding war that followed was intense. Collectors knew they were chasing something truly unique. When the dust finally settled, the coin sold for an unbelievable $1.3 million to a private collector who remains anonymous to this day. Now here's where things get even more interesting. The 1980p silver quarter isn't the only rare coin out there. Errors like this can happen during transitional periods, during shifts in production, or even due to accidental mixing of old plankettes. The problem is, they often go unnoticed. Most people don't weigh their coins or examine their edges. Most people don't know what to look for. That's where you come in. If you've got a 1980p quarter at home, check it. Look at the edge. If it has a solid silver color with no copper stripe, you might have something special. Weigh it. A regular clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams. And if you really want to be sure, get it graded by a trusted professional. Because history has proven time and time again these rare coins are still out there. So what can we learn from this $1 million story? First, Don't overlook the little things. Value can be hiding in plain sight. Second, know the signs. Learn how to spot mint errors, metal differences, and design anomalies. And third, never stop hunting. The next big discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. Have you ever come across a coin that looked or felt different? Do you check your quarters before spending them? Drop your stories in the comments below. You never know who else might have found something rare. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss a deep dive into the world of rare coins and collectibles. Thanks for watching. And, as always, keep your eyes open, keep checking your change, and happy hunting. Video production. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, valuable collectibles, and jaw-dropping discoveries that might be hiding in plain sight. If you're into coin collecting or just love stories about how everyday items can be worth a fortune, you're going to love this one. Today, we're talking about the Washington quarter that doesn't seem all that special at first glance. It's a 1981 quarter, a coin that millions of people use in vending machines, parking meters, and gas stations across America. But one particular 1981 Washington quarter turned out to be so rare and so mysterious that it stunned collectors and eventually sold for an unbelievable $1.4 million. That's right, a coin you might have spent without a second thought ended up being worth more than most people's houses. Let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, designed to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over the decades, it became one of the most widely circulated coins in American history. By 1981, quarters were no longer made of silver, they were struck in copper nickel-clad composition. Just like today, the Denver Mint produced over 575 million quarters that year with the D Mint mark. So what on earth could make one single 1981 quarter worth $1.4 million? Here's where things get interesting. This particular coin, now known among collectors as the 1981 Deep Die Strike error, is a one-of-a-kind minting mistake. During the production process, a serious die clash occurred. That's when the two dies that stamped the coin's front and back actually hit each other without a plan kit in between. When the next plan kit was struck, it received an incredibly deep and dramatic impression with overlapping, doubled features that shouldn't be there. What makes this quarter so valuable isn't just the error, it's how rare, clear, and dramatic that error is. Most error coins are subtle or flawed in a way that lowers their value, but this one is so unique, so sharply struck, and in such exceptional condition that it became a legend in the coin collecting world. The quarter was discovered by a seasoned collector who bought a mixed bag of coins at a local estate sale. While sorting through it, something about this quarter stood out. The weight felt right, but the design looked off. The obverse, or front of the coin, had a doubled image of Washington's bust, while the reverse showed overlapping eagles and text that looked as if it had been struck multiple times. After professional grading and certification, the coin received a near-perfect mint state rating and was officially recognized as an extreme die clash error. The buzz spread like wildfire across the coin community. Collectors and investors alike were eager to get their hands on it. When it finally went up for auction, the bidding war was intense. After several rounds of aggressive offers, a private collector finally secured the coin for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million, setting a record for a modern Washington quarter. Now, before you go checking every 1981 quarter in your change, keep in mind that this is a 1 in a billion error. But that doesn't mean there aren't other valuable quarters out there waiting to be found. Die errors, off-center strikes, double dies, transitional metals, those are the kinds of things that can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a collector's dream. So what can we learn from the story of the 1981 quarter? First, pay attention to details. It's easy to dismiss coins as just spare change, but history and value can often be hiding in the smallest imperfections. Second, never assume a coin's value based on its date alone. While 1981 isn't a key date in most collectors' eyes, This one rarer changed that completely. And third, treasure hunts are real. Whether you're digging through an old coin jar, visiting a flea market, or buying estate lots, the next $1 million find might be waiting for you. Have you ever found a coin that looked strange or had a minting flaw? Do you check your quarters before you spend them? Let me know in the comments. Say, I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of Rare Coin Stories and Incredible Collectibles. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we uncover hidden treasures, rare coins, and the stories that turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing discoveries. If you're into coin collecting or love true stories about unexpected wealth, you're going to want to hear this one. Today, we're diving into the unbelievable story behind the 1987D Washington quarter, a coin that, on the surface, looks completely normal. But one rare version of this quarter shocked collectors and sold for an astonishing $1.2 million. That's right, a coin worth just 25 cents became a $1 million masterpiece, and the story behind it will blow your mind. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. coinage since 1932. It was originally designed to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday and has since become one of the most familiar coins in circulation. By 1987, quarters were being made from copper nickel clad, no longer from silver as they were before 1965. The D Mint mark on this particular coin tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint. In that year alone, over 655 million quarters were produced at Denver. So how could a coin from such a massive production run end up being worth over $1 million? The answer lies in a once-in-a-lifetime minting error, a freak accident that produced a coin unlike any other. The rare 1987D quarter that sold for $1.2 million wasn't just valuable because of its age or mint mark. It was valuable because it was struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. Somehow, this quarter was minted on a leftover silver planchet, a type that had not been used in regular quarter production since the mid-1960s. That's already extremely rare, but the story doesn't stop there. This particular coin was also struck using proof-quality dies. These dies are specially polished and used to create coins with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. They're reserved for collector coins, not coins meant for circulation. But this one slipped through the cracks. So now we have a perfect storm, a 1987D quarter, struck in silver, with proof-level detail, in near-perfect condition. A coin that shouldn't exist, a coin that somehow survived the minting process, escaped quality control, entered circulation, and was found decades later. The coin was discovered by a man in California going through his late uncle's old coin collection. At first glance, the quarter didn't look all that unusual, but the weight felt slightly off. There was no copper stripe on the edge, and it had a distinct, high-pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface. He took it to a local coin dealer who immediately recognized it could be something rare and recommended getting it professionally graded. The coin was submitted to one of the top grading services, and the results were jaw-dropping. It was authenticated as a genuine 1987D quarter struck on a silver planchet, using proof dies, and graded in near mint state. In the numismatic world, this was like finding a unicorn. When it was put up for auction, the buzz was intense. Collectors and investors around the world were watching. The bidding started high and just kept climbing. In the end, the coin sold to a private collector for $1.2 million, setting a new record for any Washington quarter from the modern era. So what does this mean for the rest of us? It means that rare coins can still be out there. It means that the change in your drawer, the coins in your car, or that old collection sitting in a shoebox could hold a treasure that no one else has discovered yet. If you have a 1987D quarter at home, take a closer look. Start by checking the edge. A standard clad quarter will have a copper-colored stripe along the side. But if it looks solid silver, you might be onto something. Weigh it. A normal 1987D quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but the silver planchet would weigh closer to 6.25 grams. If anything seems off, it might be worth getting checked out. This story is a perfect example of why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt for the unexpected, a hunt for the one mistake that turns a common coin into a one-of-a-kind piece of American history. So now I've got to ask, have you ever found a coin that looked different? Do you check your pocket change before spending it? Let me know in the comments below. And who knows, maybe you've already come across something rare without even realizing it. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next big coin discovery. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and happy hunting. If you'd like, I can also help you format this into a script for voiceover with timing tips, or help pair it with visuals for your video production. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we uncover the rarest coins, the most incredible finds, and the unbelievable stories behind everyday change that could make you a millionaire. If you're into coin collecting, history, or just love a good mystery, make sure you stick around, because today's story is going to blow your mind. We're talking about the 1997p Washington quarter, a coin you've probably seen 100 times, maybe even spent without a second thought. But one rare version of this ordinary-looking quarter ended up being worth a staggering $1.1 million. That's right, a coin that most people would drop into a vending machine without blinking could actually be a small fortune in disguise. Let's rewind a bit and talk about the basics. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. By 1997, the coin was well into its copper-nickel-clad era. The P mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That year alone, hundreds of millions of these quarters were produced. So how could just one of them end up being worth over $1 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition. The coin in question is what collectors now call the 1997p transitional era quarter. It was accidentally struck on a plankett intended for a different kind of coin, a pure 90% silver plankett that was supposedly no longer in circulation. This wasn't supposed to happen. By 1997, the U.S. Mint had long stopped striking quarters in silver for general use, but somehow, this one plankett slipped through. To make things even more wild, the quarter was struck using proof quality dies at a kind of ultra-detailed, mirror-finished tools that are normally reserved for collector sets, not mass circulation coins. The result was a hybrid, a total anomaly, a 1997p quarter with stunning, sharp details, struck on silver, in nearly flawless condition. So how was it discovered? Believe it or not, it showed up in a small collection passed down through a family in New Jersey. A coin enthusiast going through his late grandfather's old coins noticed that one of the 1997 quarters looked slightly different. The color was brighter, the sound was crisper when dropped. The edge had no visible copper, a huge red flag for something rare. Curious, he took the coin to a dealer. That dealer immediately recognized it might be something special and sent it off for grading. What came back shocked everyone. Not only was it authenticated as a genuine U.S. Mint error, but it was certified as the only known 1997p quarter struck on a silver plankett using proof dies, a truly one-of-a-kind piece. Word spread fast in the numismatic world. Collectors knew this was no ordinary error. This was a unicorn. When the coin finally hit the auction block, it created a bidding war unlike anything seen for a modern-era quarter. Phone lines lit up, online bids surged, and within minutes, the price had skyrocketed past $500,000. By the time the gavel fell, the coin had sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million to a private collector who, to this day, has chosen to remain anonymous. So, what can we take away from this? First, always check your change. You never know what could be hiding in that handful of coins. A tiny detail, like the color of the edge or the shine of the surface, could mean the difference between 25 cents and $1 million. Second, learn what to look for. Error coins can happen in a lot of different ways. Double strikes, off-center hits, wrong metal plan case, missing layers. But the key to value is rarity and condition. The rarer the error and the better the shape, the higher the potential price tag. And third, Never assume that modern coins can't be valuable. Sure, most of the high-dollar coins you hear about are centuries old, but stories like this 1997p quarter prove that even recent coins can make headlines and break records. So here's the question: have you ever found a coin that seemed just a little off? Have you checked your quarters from 1997 lately? Because that silver-toned coin sitting in your drawer could be the next big discovery. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found anything unusual in your change. I'd love to hear your stories, and who knows, your find might be the subject of our next video. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more rare coin finds and hidden treasure tales. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open, keep checking your change, and happy hunting and voiceover tips.